Well, let me talk about perhaps maybe some of the success stories.
Yeah.
Early on in my career, a very, very large tech company came to me one day and said, we've been reporting the square footage of these 8 buildings that we're getting ready to sell for 5 years, and Bob, your numbers are wrong in ARCHIBUS. They're wrong. My real estate company came over here and gave me different numbers. You've got an hour to tell me where your mistake is. And I said, all right, give me their background data. And within about 35, 40 minutes, I had realized that they had not calculated the vertical penetration inside the buildings properly. That because it was a whole building, the vertical penetration was included in the square footage, not excluded. And so I came back and I said, here it is. They removed the vertical penetration, which is not proper because it's a whole building, according to BOMA standards. And the VP had said, well, you're going to work late tonight, so stick around. And I'm going to call the real estate guy, and the real estate guy came over in about an hour. I walked all 8 buildings with him. He agreed with my numbers, and it saved that company $30 million in their sale right then and there, within a 5-hour period, and just because of the numbers we were tracking. It's a huge success story. Number 2, another tech company in San Francisco had purchased a company in Massachusetts, and it was right at the dot-com crunch. And they were doing some tenant improvements on the 3rd floor. And those 10 improvements included 69 cubicles, 70 cubicles for one of their departments. And they had realized from the vacancy occupancy report that we had provided that they had 65 vacancies on the 1st and 2nd floor. And because it was in the recession, it was started the dot-com crunch, they realized they were probably going to lose a percentage by the time they were done with the 10 improvements. So they chose to restack the 1st and 2nd floor and lease out the 3rd floor. And that was a couple $1 million savings a year. Basically it became revenue instead of expense. Very similar thing with a utility company in San Francisco. We did what was called spring cleaning. Went through and determined how many cubicles were being used for storage of books, servers, Christmas trees, right, whatever. And they had determined that there was about 350 cubicles that they could recapture. And they were able to close a building for 3 floors, which is about a $3 million savings per year. And it's just simply because of the data we're providing. One of our big ones is that we walked the floor for for an insurance company in downtown San Francisco, and they had 4 buildings. And when we got done walking, we told them they had a 50% vacancy rate, that half of their cubes were empty. And they promptly fired us. They said, you didn't do the right job. And so we went away, and 2 months later, they called us back and says, we walked the floors and we have a 50% vacancy rate. You're rehired, help us restack. And so they actually built a new campus in the East Bay. And well, they initially closed down 3 of the 4 buildings and moved everybody into the 1 building. And then they built a campus in the East Bay. And it was simply just by tracking that type of data. So those are the kind of success stories that we're used to having.
It's amazing that you can save companies that much money. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it really is. It's just data. It's just provide data. I've got one more success story that I think is really good. A tech company down in Silicon Valley used our MicroView HVAC electrical module to track the electrical use inside their server rooms. They wanted to find how much, whether they need a new meter, whether they need to bring more electricity in. So we helped them track all of their assets inside on the racks, tied it back to our HVAC electrical application, which then calculated up how much use was being used. And well, 2 things came out of that. Number 1, they found out that one of the new server rooms was under powered, and they needed to provide more. And they need to get more air conditioners in there for BTUs. But the second thing, the big thing was, this is 20 years ago, so 15 years ago, this is when servers were like $10,000 a server. And we got back the report, and one of the VPs had 2 servers for every employee that he managed, which was several hundred. And the VP goes, no, that can't be true. And we pulled the report out, we walked the server rooms with the VP. He understood that he had 2 servers per every employee. He canceled a 20 server, or 40 server order and saved the company about $500,000, just basically because we had tracked and had the information.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Yeah. That's a lot of money to save.